Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm here with another video. This is module 7 and we're going to work on implementing DHCP IPv version 4. Okay, and then as you can see on my left side we have the logical topology and how everything's connected right now, right? So if I go over to the addressing table, we're given all this information here to use. So I'm gonna so objectives part 1, we need to configure a router as a DHCP server. So this is the main router that's we need to configure that as a DHCP server, so our internal network can efficiently run and use that DHCP server. And then part 2, configure DHCP server, DHCP relay. All right, and then part 3, we're going to do configure a router as a DHCP client. Okay, and these two routers, they're going to be the client. In scenario, it says that as the network technicians for your company, you're tasked with configuring a Cisco router as a DHCP server to provide dynamic allocation of addresses to clients on the network. You're also required to configure the edge router as a DHCP client so that it receives an IP address from the ISP network. Okay, since the server is centralized, you will need to configure the two LAN router to relay DHCP traffic between the LANs and the router that is serving as the DHCP server. Okay, so that's good. That really makes sense to me. So we're gonna go ahead and work on that. So first we're gonna start on the part 1, right? Part 1, we're gonna configure a router as a DHCP server. So let's see, instruction. Okay, so let's work on that. So we know that this is going to be, we're gonna configure our router 2 because that's going to be our DHCP server, Cisco router as a DHCP server to provide a dynamic allocation of addresses to the clients on the network. So these are our clients. So all right, I'm going to open up router 2 CLI, and then I'm going to go enable config term. And then, so first thing, what we need to do is we need to exclude the first 10 addresses from the R1 and then from R3 LANs, all right? Because those 10 addresses gonna be probably gonna be used for a printer, for any static, if you it's gonna be any static IP address for printers, anything that needs a static IP address, right? So the 10 IP address we're gonna exclude from that dynamic allocation to that DHCP. All right. So to do that, you gotta do IP DHCP excluded addresses, only address. So we're gonna 168.10.1. So and then so we're gonna exclude 10 addresses. So that's my lowest IP address, and my highest you can also do 168 dot it's gonna be 10 dot it's gonna be 10. All right, from 1 to 10. As you can see here, this is gonna be for router 1. Okay, so from router 1 we are excluding 10 addresses. All right, so hit enter, and then let's exclude 10 addresses from router 3. DHCP excluded address 192.168. From router 2 we have sorry, so we're gonna exclude from router 3. Um, so this router 3 gonna be 30.1 and then 192.1 68.30.10. Okay, all right, awesome. All right, so once we do that, we're gonna move to number part 2. All right, so we're gonna go to step 1. We excluded IP addresses from that. Okay, and then step 2 would be create a DHCP pool on router 2 for the router 1. Okay, all right, so let's create a DHCP pool name. So to do that, you want to do IP DHCP pool R1 and then LAN. All right. Okay. And then once the pool name must be matched. The pool name must match this value in order for you to get credit for your information. So we have to match that. All right. So now configure the DHCP pool to include the network address, the default gateway, and then IP address of the DNS server. Okay. So let's configure the network, default gateway, and DNS server. So to do that, let's put network 192.168. That's going to be .0, 10.0, and then 255.255.255.0. Okay. And then default dash router 92.168.110, and then it's gonna be 1. All right, and then hit enter. DNS server 192.168.20 is gonna be 20 this time. 254. So we have this information right here. Okay. So right here. All right. So enter. Okay. All right. So we're done with this. We're done with configuring this. Now let's move to step 3. Create a DHCP pool on router 2 for router 3. Okay, so we're creating for the router 3. Create a name. All right, so we're gonna pretty much do the same thing as we did for the router 2. So I'm gonna hit you can hit the up key to access the previous commands. So mine was, and then just pretty much change the name here. Just put 2. So this is gonna be not 2, 3, and then enter. And then we're gonna do, you can just follow that. And then we're gonna do network. Where's my network? Right there. And you have to change the this number right here, which is gonna be 30, and everything's gonna stay the same. And then we go over to default, and then put 330. Sorry, hit enter, and you're gonna go to DNS server. Gonna stay the same for this one as well. Okay, because we only have one DNS server. All right. So we're done with router 3, configuring router 3. Now moving to part 2. Now configure DHCP relay, right? Okay, and then so we want to configure DHCP relay, configure router 1 and router 3 as a DHCP relay agent. Okay, all right, so let's do that. So now we're gonna move. So this is router 2, so we need to be in router 1 first. CLI. Alright, so the router 1. Alright, so router 1 gonna be enable config interface G0/0. Then you want to do IP helper address 10.1.1.2. So this is on router 1. Alright, okay, and then I'm gonna go to router 3 and do the same thing on router 3 as well. Config term interface, and then you're gonna put IP helper address 10.2.2.2 and alright, so we're done configuring DHCP relay for router 1 and router 3. Now let's move to step this is going to be step 2, which is set PC1 and PC2 to receive IP address from the DHCP. So to do that, all you gotta do is go over to your PC. Alright, you go over to your PC. Where's my mouse here? Go over to your PC, go to IP config, then just click DHCP, and it should receive that IP address. There you go. Boom. So that's good. Go over to PC1, do the same thing, and then close it out. Okay, now we're done with setting PC1 PC2 to receive IP address from DHCP. Now part 3, configure router 2 as a DHCP client. Okay, so this is going to router 2. We're going to configure this as a DHCP client. Alright, so we're going to do config is already in there. Interface 0/1. Now you want to do IP address DHCP no shutdown. Oops, there's a misspelled down. Okay, all right, no shutdown. Okay, all right, so and then what else we need to do here? So we just did configure router 2 as a DHCP client. Now step 1, configure the so that's what we did. Ethernet gig 1 receiving IP address from the DHCP. Now activate the interface. That no shutdown will activate the interface, so we're good with that. I think we're okay. We're at 100% completion. Looks like we completed everything they asked in this packet tracer, so looks good. Yeah, so this is it for this video. We have successfully completed, and once again, if this video is helpful to you, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. This will help me tremendously, and I will see you in another video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.